That's my job is to purify and pour gold. Now, to purify something is to clean it, and in order to clean something, it must be dirty. The gold that you find naturally straight from the ground, never 100% pure. It always has other trace elements in it. These impurities are usually different metals such as copper, silver, nickel, tin, or iron. The gold found here, specifically in Ballarat, is some of the purest natural gold you'll find anywhere in the world. It's at least 22 carat, at least 90% pure. The gold around here has been found to be up to 97% pure already, which is almost unheard of. My job is to take that 22 and turn it into 24 carat gold, making it over 99.99% pure. And the reason that I do this is so that way the mining company I work for going to sell that gold, they can sell it at a higher price because it's at a more standardized value. So that is what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. I'm going to pour a nice big block of gold here right in front of your eyes. And that's the what, when, why, and how. Just while the gold is finishing heating up, I'll talk to you about a few other things. So, we'll start at the beginning. 1851, gold was first discovered here at Ballarat. At that stage, anybody in their right mind to be able to find some gold, all you needed was a shovel, a pan, and a water source. Same thing you do down in the creek. It's called shallow alluvial mining. Hands up if you've been down there already and tried to find some gold. Hands up if you found some gold. Right, well done, sir. Very good. So, you guys should absolutely go check that out. There's absolutely gold in the creek, and that's because we put it in there every single day. So in 1851, it was even easier to find gold then than it is today. You could pretty much kick up some dirt pretty much anywhere and you'd find some gold. The local Aboriginal people around here, the Wallarong tribe, didn't really place any purpose or value on gold. It was absolutely everywhere, and it was too heavy and soft to get the tools out. So they just let it lie where it's at. So, if you guys found an area where there was gold all over the ground, would you run and tell everyone about it? No, you wouldn't. You're a lot smarter than them. Word quickly spread across the country and around the globe. Very soon there was too many people here. That surface gold that we're talking about all but disappeared. Those with a bit of experience in mining, like those from the California gold rush, which happened a couple of years prior, in 1848 and 49, when they came over, they had a technique that was quite prosperous for them. It's called deep lead mining. What that involves is digging down below the surface until you hit water, then finding out what direction and angle that water is flowing in and digging in that direction. When you do that, you follow an old ancient river that used to exist, but it's now been covered by dirt over the course of millennia. Ballarat was very famous for this type of mining, and that's because once upon a time this area was very rich in volcanic activity. Not sure if you've looked on the horizon in any which direction around here, but you'll see a mountain. You've got Mount Warren, Mount Boniam, Mount Beckworth, Mount whatchamacallit, they're absolutely everywhere. So if you can imagine a creek, big creek flowing through this very spot, all the gold gets pushed into that creek through physics, volcano explodes, covers that one, new one forms, same thing. So underground you have all these deep leads. All you have to do is go down, pick the right one, and dig along it. Around here it was coined the term walking the jewelry shop, because once you've dug a sufficient tunnel in the right spot, you can pluck gold nuggets on the walls, left, right, and centre. There was just that much. About 10 years after the first discovery of gold, so in 1861, the mining company started to set up here. By that stage, finding a big gold nugget you can retire on was a lot more luck than skill. A more reliable way to find gold was to look for this instead. This quartz rock, natural gold bearing ore. You won't find many big nuggets in here, but you will find very tiny veins of gold running throughout some cores. Thinner than a blade of grass, not worth much by itself. But if you're a big mining company and you have the tools and know-how to extract this gold and put it all together, that's when it becomes worth something. So the first step in quartz mining is to find a lot of quartz. Where you're going to do that is dig deep underground, anywhere from 100 meters to a kilometer down. You might find something called a quartz reef, which is basically that, the size of this room, building, or even bigger, and can stretch on for hundreds of meters. Once you find a good quartz reef with a high concentration of gold, you want to start drilling into it, filling it with black powder, and blasting it to bits, controlled explosions, until you end up with pieces about this size. The miners, being 9, 10, 12-year-olds, would go and grab these rocks and take them over to the Poppinhead entrance. You pick the little ones because they can fit fit into our small mine shafts a lot easier. Then we just got to feed them about 2 meals a day, and they'll have a job for years to come. Get all the malnourishment. Poppet head, for those of you that are unaware, is that big tower over there. That takes these quartz rocks from down the mines up to the surface for you. And then they're transported to the battery house next door. Not sure if you guys have checked that out yet, but if not, in there these rocks are crushed under steam-driven hammers again and again and again until you have the quartz dust. Then you take that dust and you wash it over a series of tables with big grooves in them, and then smaller grooves, and medium grooves, and smaller grooves again. When that happens, the gold particles will fall into those grooves, and the rest of the quartz dust will wash over the top. That's just simply because the gold is a lot heavier. Another element is added to these tables called silver mercury. Now mercury and gold have a natural attraction to each other, so the mercury helps the gold stitch the table out a little bit better. The result in the battery house is a thick, sticky paste we call an amalgam, which is where my job comes in. To simplify things, we'll say that amalgam is made up of 4 ingredients. First one being the mercury, second and third being our impurities, the copper and the silver, and also our gold. So my job is to remove those other 3. So first of all, I'll remove my mercury. I'll do that by placing my amalgam in a fancy cast iron pot like this one here, called a retort. Bolt the lid shut, place that into the furnace. 358 degrees later, my mercury inside there will start turning into a gas, escaping out of this fire here, flooding the room with toxic mercury gas. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the dangers of mercury poisoning, but it can cause your teeth to fall out, cognitive issues, memory loss, kidney failure, and even death. Also, your teeth can fall out, cognitive issues, and memory loss. Once they became aware of the dangers of mercury poisoning, they made a little addition to the retort. What they did was extend the pipe into a cold bucket of water. The mercury would still flow out as a gas, and once it hits that cold water in the bucket, it turns back into a liquid, storing that mercury in there, preventing it from going in here. So saving lives and saving money. Reuse that mercury back to the battery house. I then take what's left of my amalgam out of my retort and place it in the crucible to get rid of my copper and silver. I then place on top of that a different substance called borax, a powdered flux or a collector. And for intended purposes, just think of borax as the opposite of mercury. It doesn't like gold, where it stick to it, but it'll stick to everything else. I then place that into the furnace. And this time I'm going to heat it all the way up to 1,064 degrees. That's gold's melting temperature. At that stage, everything in there will be a liquid. My gold will be at the bottom, and the copper and the silver will be bubbling up to the surface, getting stuck to my borax, forming a crust or a slurry that sits on top of my liquid. All I then have to do is just simply pour out my liquid gold. And that crust or that slurry will just stay on the surface as it tilts. Liquid comes out, slurry falls, and gets poured into the crucible. Much like when you drink a beer or a milkshake, you know, the froth and the bubbles get stuck inside the glass. Exactly the same principle as that. Get your devices out now, folks, if you wish to record me pouring out the gold. We'll be doing that in about 15 seconds. I'm going to take my gold all the way up to 1200 degrees. That'll allow me about 15 seconds to take it over the table and pour it out before it turns back into a solid. So don't heat and energy went in here. Not much of it went into the room around us. And that's because gold transfers pretty much all of its energy via touch or conductively. It has a very difficult time radiating that heat, like you open the oven door or you're sitting around a fire. This is still 900 degrees. If I left this alone here and didn't do anything to it, it would stay that hot temperature, not safe to touch for the next 3 hours. If this was made of any other material at 900 degrees, you'd be able to feel the heat coming off of where you're sitting. But I can hold my hand just millimeters away from it and still feel nothing at all. The second that I touch it, it will offload as much energy as it can as quickly. Instantly plus the surface of the wood. So, the best way to cool it down is to give it something to constantly touch. I have a big trough of water hitting here. Alrighty, I'll talk about the water first for a second. The water, before I did that, was ice cold. I just put a 900 degree block of gold in there. So, bit of trivia, bit of a survey. Who thinks the water should be hot now? Who thinks it should be warm? Who thinks it should be cold? Who's too shy to put their hand up? I'll let you know that surprisingly to most, the water is ice cold. It doesn't matter how many times I do that, it will remain ice cold. That's because the rate of heat transfer is just that quick. All that water that was touching the gold instantly turned into steam. So all that energy is now gone up and is in the room around us. The safest way to figure out if the gold is safe enough to touch is simply to get somebody else to pick it up. Just kidding, I'll pick it up just like I have 100 times before. Ah! 99.99% pure gold, 24 carat, 103 ounces, 3 kilograms. Now this is a very expensive, very valuable, very shiny, very golden material. What would happen is next in 1851 is it would get stamped with the company logo, taken down to Melbourne, guarded by Red Coat soldiers to be sold at auction or melted down to sovereigns. Now, gold has been valuable for way longer than it has been useful, except in the sense that it's very, very rare, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't rust, it doesn't oxidize. If I place this gold right here, waited a few thousand years,